Picture this. You're sitting in the parking lot of a car dealership. You did not plan to be here today. You just came to look. But the salesperson was friendly. The numbers seemed to work out. And now you are holding a pen over a contract for a brand new $38,000 SUV. Your monthly payment? $680. And you know what? You can afford it. You ran the numbers. You make good money. It fits in the budget. You sign a contract, drive off the lot feeling like you finally made it, and head home in a car that smells incredible. 3 years later, you look at your bank account, and something does not add up. You are earning more than you have ever earned. But you are not ahead. You are not behind, exactly. You are just stuck. The same stuck you were 3 years ago, before the raise, before the promotion, before all of it. And the car? Still 2 years left on the loan. Still $680 a month. You owe $18,000 on a vehicle that CarMax will give you $14,000 for. You are not behind on payments. You have not done anything wrong. You just did what everyone around you is doing, what the entire economy is designed to encourage you to do. And somehow, quietly, it costs you everything. My name is Sabri, and I spend way too much time thinking about the financial decisions that feel completely normal, that your neighbors are making, that television commercials celebrate, that the entire American consumer machine is engineered to push you toward, and that are draining your wealth one monthly payment at a time. If you feel like your income climbs every year, but your net worth never seems to follow, hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if it helps you out. Because today we are not talking about which credit card to use or how to negotiate your salary. We are talking about the single largest wealth killer hiding in plain sight in the driveways of middle-class America. And there's a very good chance it is sitting in your driveway right now. Here is the thing. Americans have been sold a story about cars that is so deeply embedded in this culture that questioning it feels almost unpatriotic. You work hard, you deserve a nice car. You got a raise, you should upgrade. Your old car has 80,000 miles on it, practically ancient, time to move on. This story is not just financially wrong. It is making you poor, not slightly poorer, not marginally less wealthy. Genuinely, measurably, mathematically poor in a way that compounds against you for decades. And to understand exactly why, we need to talk about the most brutal concept in consumer economics: depreciation. Depreciation is the loss in value of an asset over time. For almost every other asset class, depreciation is something people aggressively try to avoid. Nobody brags about a stock that bleeds value. Nobody celebrates a business asset that loses worth every year. But cars? We have collectively agreed to pretend depreciation does not exist. We look at the monthly payment and we stop right there. That blind spot is costing the average American a fortune. Here is what actually happens the second you drive a new car off the lot. That $38,000 vehicle is now worth approximately $31,000. You just lost $7,000 in the time it took to reach the first stoplight. In the first year alone, the average new car loses between 20 and 30% of its value. That is $7,600 to $11,400 on a $38,000 purchase. Gone. Not spent on an experience. Not exchanged for something tangible. Just gone. Evaporated. No invoice arrives in the mail. Nobody calls to tell you. But it is real money leaving your life every single month as silently and as certainly as gravity. Now you might be thinking, Bobby, I am not planning to sell my car. I keep them a long time. Depreciation does not really affect me. And I hear you. But here is why that logic falls apart. Whether you sell the car or not, you already paid the purchase price. Every dollar of depreciation is a dollar you paid that returned nothing to you. If you bought a $38,000 car and it is worth $12,000 6 years later when you trade it in, you spent $26,000 not on transportation, but on the privilege of owning something that was losing value the entire time you owned it. You rented that car. You just rented it from a dealership instead of Hertz. And the rental was more expensive. But depreciation is only part of the trap. The real destruction happens when you layer financing on top of it. And this is where the math gets genuinely uncomfortable. Let's walk through the full picture of that $38,000 SUV. You put $2,000 down. You finance $36,000 over 72 months at 7.5% interest, which is close to the national average for a new car loan right now. Your monthly payment is $618. Over the life of the loan, you will pay approximately $44,500 total. You are paying $44,500 for a car that cost $38,000 and will be worth maybe $13,000 by the time the final payment clears. You spent $44,500 to end up with a $13,000 asset. The real cost of that car is not $38,000. It is not $618 a month. The real cost is the gap between what you paid and what you got. And that gap is $31,500. But we're not done, because there is one more layer nobody mentions at the dealership. Opportunity cost. That $618 a month is not just $618 a month. It is $618 a month that is not going into an index fund. It is not compounding. It is not working for you while you sleep. It is working for the lender. If you invested $618 a month instead of making car payments, over 6 years at an 8% average annual return, you would accumulate approximately $56,000. Not $56,000 minus what you spent. $56,000 in actual wealth. Assets that belong to you. Instead, after 6 years of payments on this vehicle, you own something worth $13,000. The swing between those two outcomes is $43,000. From one car purchase. From one afternoon in a parking lot where you just came to look. And here's what really gets me. This is not a rare situation. This is the default. This is the normal path. The average American car payment right now is $735 a month for a new vehicle. $735 a month. And yet the average American savings rate is hovering around 3.5%. We are financing depreciating assets at record levels while saving almost nothing. Those two facts are not unrelated. So let's talk about why we keep doing this. Because this is not about intelligence. The people making these decisions are not uninformed. They are operating inside a system that has spent billions of dollars learning exactly how to get them to sign on that line. The first weapon is monthly payment thinking. Dealerships are masterful at pulling the conversation away from total cost and toward the monthly number. Can you afford $680 a month? That feels manageable. It fits on a spreadsheet. It is less than rent. Nobody asks whether you can afford $44,500 over 6 years. Nobody puts the total interest paid on a banner in the window. Because if they did, you would walk out. The second weapon is the trade-in treadmill. This is how the trap resets itself. You have 24 months left on your current loan, but the car is getting older. The warranty is expiring. Something small breaks, and the anxiety starts. The dealer sees you coming. They offer to roll your remaining balance into your new loan. They will pay off your old car, they say. What they actually mean is they will add what you still owe onto the new loan, stretch the term to 72 or 84 months, and lower the monthly payment just enough that it does not feel catastrophic. You are now paying off 2 cars at once while only driving one. The average American trade-in carries over $5,000 in negative equity. That is not starting fresh. That is digging the hole deeper and repaving over it. The third weapon is identity. And this is the most dangerous one. Because a car is not just transportation in America. It is a status signal, a statement. The most visible piece of the story you tell the world about who you are. And the auto industry has spent a century making sure you feel the weight of that. That you feel the difference between the person driving a 2024 truck and the person in a 2017 one. That feeling is manufactured. It is a billion-dollar marketing operation running directly against your net worth. And most of us carry it around every day without ever asking who put it there. So what does the other side look like? What does the wealth version of this decision actually produce? You need a car. That is real. But instead of buying new, you buy a 3-year-old certified pre-owned version of the same vehicle. Someone else absorbed the steepest part of the depreciation curve. The car is now $24,000 instead of $38,000. You finance it for 48 months. Your payment is $555 a month. You pay thousands less in total interest. And then in 4 years when the loan is paid off, you do something radical. You keep the car. You drive it to 150,000 miles. You perform the maintenance. You do not trade it in the moment it stops feeling exciting. You treat it like what it actually is, a tool. During the years after your loan is gone, you take that old $555 payment and redirect it entirely into a retirement account, into a brokerage account, into anything building your future instead of funding someone else's quarter. 4 years of investing $555 a month at 8% returns gives you another $31,000 in wealth. Sitting there, growing. That is the gap. That is the real difference between the person who cycles through new car loans every 5 years and the person who does the boring, unglamorous thing and drives something slightly older and completely paid off. It is not a small difference. It is $43,000. It is over a lifetime of vehicle purchases or retirement. A real one. Now I can already hear the objections. New cars are more reliable, better safety features, warranty coverage. And look, some of that is true. But let's be honest about what we are really saying. Modern vehicles are extraordinarily well built. A properly maintained car with 40,000 miles on it is not a financial liability. It is a machine. And the 3-year-old version of almost any mainstream vehicle is mechanically nearly identical to the new one, with a fraction of the financial downside. You are not trading your safety for savings. You are trading the new car smell for $43,000. That is the actual trade. The path out of this trap is not complicated, but it requires you to make peace with something that American culture makes deeply uncomfortable. Driving a car that is not a projection of your aspirations. A car that is enough. A car that does its job and asks nothing of your identity in return. Because when the car asks nothing of your identity, it asks nothing of your bank account either. Here is the mindset shift that changes everything. Stop asking, can I afford this payment? Start asking, what is this vehicle going to cost me in total, and what am I giving up by not investing that money? Run the full number. The purchase price, the interest, the depreciation, the opportunity cost of everything not invested. Add it all up. Look at the real number, and then decide whether the way a car makes you feel is worth what it actually costs. Because here is the uncomfortable truth. Most people could build genuine wealth on just the money they are currently sending to auto lenders every month. Not by getting a second job, not by cutting out coffee, not by finding some obscure investment strategy, by simply refusing to chain themselves to a new car payment every 4 to 6 years for the rest of their working lives. The monthly payment feels small. The lifetime cost is staggering, and every single dollar of it is a choice. You can choose differently. Starting right now, starting with the next car. If this video changed the way you think about your car payment, smash that like button and subscribe because we break down these invisible financial traps every single week. And if someone you know is about to sign a car loan this weekend, do them the biggest favor of their financial life and send them this video first.